What's up guys, welcome to A to Z Geek. Today we're taking a look at Came TV's new gimbal, the Came Action for the GoPro. Alright guys, so here we are in a little close-up. I thought I'd do a little unboxing first just so you could see what comes in the package and how it comes packed. So here is the package. The outside's kind of a canvas bag. It's pretty nice. It comes like with a little carrying strap that's not attached when you get it. The handle's neoprene, kind of like your standard like laptop bag. When you open it, it's got a little zipper kind of thing here. And when you open it, everything is inside. This is pretty much exactly how it comes packaged with the exception of this, which is like a little lanyard thing. That actually comes attached to it when you get it. And obviously there's some batteries here as well, which are actually in the unit now because I've been using it. The inside is neoprene, so it's nice and soft and won't scratch any of your stuff. And you get like some little extra areas here so that you can put, you know, some extra cables or whatever. I've been kind of playing around with connecting a USB port from the GoPro to a monitor that I had externally. I've since decided that going with the app is a little bit better, even though there's a tiny bit of lag. The GoPro app, even though there's a tiny bit of lag with it, it's still easier. I don't have to have cables on it. I don't have to worry about the cables tugging on it and making it screw up. So let's just talk about a little bit about what comes in it. So first of all, here you get the instructions, which I'm surprised I haven't promptly lost yet. But it's pretty basic. I wouldn't really even call these instructions. It's kind of just like a little manual thing. It says, important note, please do not modify the board's version and the profile settings or the user is responsible for the error result. That was kind of a little bit of English and Japanese thrown in there at the same time. Anyhow, that does not mean that you can't go into the software and change anything. Well, at least I don't think that's what it means because I've connected it to the software and I've had no problems. It does run off simple BCG, which is basic kind of gimbal motor software. Well, not basic, it's actually quite advanced. But it is not a proprietary software with this system, which I actually like because you can kind of adjust everything. So that's your manual, and then you get some return policy cards and stuff like that. I ordered this directly from Came TV, so I didn't get anything, you know, from a different manufacturer. The second thing that's in here is this little cable here, and this is actually a power cable, so you can actually power the GoPro from the batteries that are in the gimbal, which is awesome. I haven't tested it out yet. I know it works, but I haven't tested it out to see how long the batteries last, just because I can't imagine that these little batteries inside here would power the GoPro plus the gimbal for a very extended period of time. However, it might. So who knows? Maybe I'll do an update on this review a little bit later after I test that feature and let you know, guys, what the power consumption is of that or how long you get out of that. So that's the cable that you get with it. I'll just put that back in here so I don't lose it like I lose everything. I can't even believe that cable's still there, to be honest. Another thing is the charger. So this is the battery charger. It's pretty simple. It's kind of cheap, plasticky sort of thing. I don't know if there's other options out there for chargers, but I'd probably consider getting a different one if it was possible because this one just seems like one drop and you're done. However, I've charged a few times on this and it's okay. It's definitely not quick, so if you run out of batteries with this gimbal and you're in the middle of using it, expect a couple of hours of charging time because that's about how long it takes. And I don't know if that's the travel charger necessarily that's to blame, or if the batteries just take that long to charge. I probably wouldn't do any kind of quick charging if unless the company came out and said that I was okay. So that's the charger, pretty simple. And then of course you get the lanyard. I guess it's just a kind of like the Wii thing, you know, prevent yourself from dropping it or breaking it or whatever. But yeah, pretty simple. that, like I said, came on it when I got it. And then you have the unit. So the unit's held in with a little bit of Velcro here, and it does have like a little bungee kind of strap here, but it just pulls out. Pretty simple. So that's the unit. It's very nicely designed. It's quite heavy, actually. I'd say maybe like 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds. I'm not sure what the actual weight on it is, but it's pretty stout. I feel like if I dropped it a few times or if I bumped it against something, that it's not going to break, which is good because I have a couple of other gimbals that are similar to this one, and they're not built nearly as strong. Actually, the reason why I bought this gimbal in the first place was because I saw a review that Graham did for Cheesy Cam, and I had to buy it. It was just, it seems so much better, and it works so much better than the one that I have, which is the Fiutech G4. And that's not to say that the Fiutech is not good. I'll probably compare that a little bit later, so you can see the differences in size for people who are familiar with these sort of gimbals. But this one's definitely built better. I really like the color scheme. I wish that they offered more colors, just because my favorite color is blue, not green. But you know, that's just a personal preference. It has nothing to do with the functionality of it. Yeah. So first thing you'll notice on the top of it's got the little GoPro cradle. This is compatible with the GoPro 3 and the 4. It has a little bit of padding in here, which is good. Just right here, a little padding, so that I guess the good thing is it's got this little cutout right here, and if you'll look on the GoPro, which this is a thing that I run into a lot with the Fiutech, is on the GoPro 3 at least, has the Wi-Fi button here. Now they've since moved that for the GoPro 4, but on the 3 it's got the Wi-Fi button. And for me, what keeps happening is when I'd slide it into the Fiutech, the Wi-Fi would activate, and it just drained my battery. So I put it in there, put it in my bag, and then I get it out, and my battery's dead. You know, so I mean, it just seemed not useful to me at all. I was going through, you know, 4 or 5 batteries every time I did a project, so it didn't work out for me. So I'm really glad that they added that little padding there, and that helps a lot. So I'll just give you a little bit better look at it so you can see everything. I'm not sure if I was out of shot on that last one, but so this is the cradle and these are the motors. You'll notice down here it has a little joystick. The joystick isn't I don't know how you really call this. It's a flat mount joystick, so it slides rather than tilts, if that makes sense. It feels pretty good. I think out of the box, I will be adjusting the motor speeds for this and inverting it. I know that sounds weird. Some people who play video games, they like the invert, so you know, up is down is up. I hate that. If I want it to go down, I want to press down. If I want it to go up, I want it to go up. If I want to go left, right. Same thing. It's just, that's natural to me, I guess, as a filmmaker, and that's how I want it to be. So I haven't done it yet, but I am going to go in the software and change that. On the back side, you'll see a button. This button is designed to change your profiles. As far as I understand, there are 3 profiles out of the box. I think you can make more, but I don't know if you can make more with the actual buttons. But I believe 1 click centers it, 2 clicks changes it to a somewhat of a, I guess, a selfie cam, or I guess it's really designed to go upside down, I think. And then the other one is kind of like a follow mode, which I believe is 3 clicks. If I got that wrong, I'll put it up on the screen so that you guys know exactly what it does. So moving down from, well, I guess I'll keep going to the top here. So I believe that these are both kind of the same thing. One is to connect it to the computer, and the other one is connecting the motors. I believe that if you connect it to this one, you're charging your unit. And if you're connecting it to this one, this is where you can make changes in the software. The cable that I showed you earlier actually connects right here. It's actually quite hard to find, but it's really tiny. and it connects right there and goes to one of these two. I'm not sure which one. I'll actually hold there for a minute so I can put a little bing arrow there. Moving down, the power button is actually this little doodad right here. And the way you activate it is by twisting it. I'm not going to do it because I don't have any weight in it, and it kind of freaks out when you don't have a GoPro in it. But you twist it to tighten it, and what it does is makes contact with the batteries on the inside and activates your system. So that's pretty much it for the outside of the unit. I'm going to go ahead and put the GoPro in it, show you how that goes, and then we'll fire it up, and I'll show you how it works. All right, so I've got the GoPro Hero 3 here. It is, like I said, compatible with the GoPro 4 and 3 Plus. I think anything from the 3 up, it's compatible with. So let's hope that, you know, any further stuff, with the exception of the Session, they keep the same form factor so we can continue to use this but still get better cameras. So all you want to do, well, the one thing I will say that's kind of a little bit frustrating is that this little tray right here, if you leave it in the case for a little while, let's say you're just like carrying it around on a shoot or something, the little bolts tend to sort of back out or screw back in, and then they screw into this little like cradle mount here. And what happens is it makes it really difficult to get that cradle back. It kind of like they sort of stick. I don't know if there's any way to fix that sort of problem, but that's just like one of the only frustrations I've had, really. So the way it goes in is you move this little tray back, this little support, and you just slide it in. So you'll notice I can push as hard as I can, and it will not activate that Wi-Fi, which, as I said before, super frustrating on the part of Fiotech. Fiotech, please figure something out to solve that problem, because it's super annoying, and I don't always catch it because sometimes I activate the Wi-Fi, but as you can see, the cradle is kind of like a little bit in the way. Fiotech's a little bit different, not so much in the way, but it does take a little bit for that LED to sort of kick in. So sometimes I just slide it in there, tighten it down, throw it in my bag, and then I forget about it, and then I pull it out later, and the blue light's blinking, and I'm like, great, I can pretty much expect, you know, 3/4 of my battery is gone. So back to this. Basically, you put it in the cradle, just slides in, and then you just tighten them down. You don't have to be specific about, you know, how many turns you do on one side or the other. It's pretty good about leveling itself out, not a big deal. And that's pretty much it. That's all you have to do. If you're gonna connect the cable at this point in time, you'd connect it here, and then connect it to the port down here so that you're getting power to your GoPro. As I said before, I'm not really sure what the battery power is, so you'll have to mess with that, or I'll mess with it and do an update later on. But that's basically what you got here. So I guess I'll go ahead and fire it up. Let me get this box out of the way here. So let's see here. So again, just turn this knob here. I'll just show you this knob here. Okay, so I'm going to turn that up, and you'll hear it activate, and then spin it to position. So what you're looking for is this this green light right here. On the other side, it actually is a blue light. I had a little bit of trouble with this out of the box for some reason. I don't know if it was the way I put the batteries in the charger or what, but I put the batteries in it, and it said that they were done charging, so I went ahead and fired up the unit. But what I was getting was this red blinking light on the back, and like I said, like you've seen, it doesn't really come with like a comprehensive manual, so there wasn't really any way for me to look at it, but it wouldn't arm. So basically what would happen is it would sort of act like it was arming, and then it would just fail, and it would blink red. And actually I had to go online, I had to do some searching and stuff to find out that that meant that the batteries were dead, which was really confusing because my understanding was that I charged the batteries completely. So I went ahead and did it again, and the second time it took much longer to charge the batteries, but when it said that they were done, they actually were a full charge. Now, I've had this thing charged for probably since I got it, like a month ago maybe. So it has not died since then. I've used it for maybe 3 or 4 4 different projects. I did it for a real estate video and a couple of other things, but that's pretty much it. But I have not charged it yet. And it's been pretty much going strong, which is awesome. And I think that's partly due to, and I should have touched on this earlier, but that's partly due to the fact that this gimbal has encoders. If you're not familiar with encoders, but they're sort of somewhat complicated, but the way it works is it's a hardware device that are on each of the motors that calculates when the motor is moving and helps it more efficiently counteract the movement. Basically what that does is it makes your stabilization more practical, a lot better, and it saves tremendous amounts of battery life. So in my opinion, this is the future of gimbals. I think you'll be seeing all the new generation of gimbals with encoders. So that's a huge technology. I think maybe I'll save talking more about it in a future video because it can get pretty in depth, and I'm not 100% caught up on all the lingo and the everything that has to go with encoders. So I don't want to talk about it right now and then screw up and have you guys be like, wait, that's not right. This guy has no idea what he's talking about. So anyway, the gimbal's activated, and I'll just move things around a little bit so you can kind of see how everything works. So by moving the joystick to the right, on this case it goes to the right, left goes to the left, up goes up, down goes down. And I changed it in the software so it would do that, which is good. Up is up, down is down, left is left, right is right. And that could get confusing for people who play video games. So if you like to play inverted, then you can switch that in the software. It is a little bit complicated to connect to the software. I had a little bit of a tough time the first time, but that's, I think, primarily because I'm on a Mac. So it took a little bit extra effort to get everything plugged in and working. However, when I got it working and I got everything plugged in, it was fine. It was pretty easy. If you know anything about simple BCG, you should be able to navigate that no problem. So right now I'm in a mode, I guess it's called follow mode. So that means when I turn to the right, once I get past a certain point, it spins with me. Same to the left. It will, however, not go down when I tilt the unit. It will stay at a constant horizon. So it'll pick its horizon, it'll stay. The other new and cool feature about encoders is it allows you on the fly to adjust the position of the camera without using the joystick. This isn't so much important for this unit because you have the joystick. However, in the future when they start building these into, or since they have been building them into this, but now that they're building these into gimbals for GoPros and for larger camera systems to be put on hexacopters and octocopters, drones, whatever you want to call them. It's so much easier because a lot of times for those systems, the ones that go on the quadcopters and the drones and everything, you actually need to connect them to a computer to adjust the angle, unless you have it connected to a transmitter. In this case, if you don't, and you kind of just want to change the position quickly, you can do that because of the encoders that are in it. So basically all you do is you spin it to a position that you want, you wait a second, and it will stay in that position. So pretty cool. Any position that you want it will stay at. I don't know if it works side to side so much. No, it will fight you for that. So, hey guys, sorry about that. Someone knocked on the door in my studio, so I had to answer it. Anyway, so back to what we were talking about before with the encoders. So essentially, you can move it anywhere you want and wait a few seconds, and it will correct itself. However, I would not, and I repeat, I would not do that to the rotation motor. I just did it a few minutes ago and it kind of screwed everything up. I don't know if that's a problem with my unit specifically or if that's a problem with the software itself. or if it's just not made to do that, but I wouldn't recommend it. So that's pretty much it as an overview. Let me just go through the different button positions here. So, all right guys, sorry about that. I had to kind of figure things out, so I didn't want to give you guys any bad information. So it looks like one tap is a follow mode, a full follow mode. So you get the right, left, and down, and up. Okay. Sorry, I joggle the joystick here. And if you press 2, you'll hear it activate. And then I believe it just holds horizon, but it's still follow mode and left to right. If you hit 3, activate, and now it's on horizon lock. So it will fight to try and stay wherever you set it for originally. So it won't follow. It'll try and hold that position as much as it possibly can. So you can see as I'm rotating it. And then 1 puts it back to that follow mode. I usually keep it in mode 2, which is horizon lock with left and right follow mode. But I mean, to be honest, you could really just leave it in profile 3 and then use the joystick to move it everywhere. So I guess the only thing left to do is to show you the inside. So I'm gonna go ahead and deactivate it. And just for this purpose, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the GoPro out. Nice and easy. And let's see here. I hurt my hand pretty bad yesterday playing Ultimate Frisbee, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it off. So there's actually 2. You can actually unscrew it here, and you can unscrew it at this bottom here. I have it really tightened down though, because when I first got it, it was kind of coming loose, so I sort of went overboard and tightened it down a little bit. But with the assistance of something small, like I got like a tiny Allen wrench. You can like stick that in there and get yourself a little bit of leverage, and then open it up. But I'm not gonna do that right now because I'm not gonna fight it on camera. But anyway, you can untwist the top here, and this is something you actually really have to be careful with. Not like you're gonna damage it or anything, but if you're gonna unscrew it from this position, you really have to be careful to put it back where it goes when you put the batteries back in. What was happening to me is the unit was deactivating because I thought that maybe the battery was dying or something was happening with it. But instead, what was actually happening was this thing was coming unscrewed, and it wasn't touching the batteries. So it was kind of disarming the system. Now it comes, I believe, with a little piece of plastic tape on there to sort of deter you from unscrewing it. But I've noticed that these threads are a little bit tougher to unscrew when you've got it on there tight than these ones are. So I tend to actually unscrew it from this side. It actually makes it a little tougher to put batteries in it as well because of the way that the batteries are in it. So you just unscrew it. Here's your batteries. There's 3 of them. It only comes with 1 set, but I think you can buy another set of them pretty easily. I'm not really sure exactly what kind of batteries these are. I'll figure it out and I'll put them in the description, or I'll put them as an annotation right here. So 3 of these batteries, which this is another thing that I really hate. It comes with 3 batteries, but the charger that they give you, let me pull it out here, only charges 2. What the heck, Cam TV? What? I mean, so now I have to do 2 charges to get all 3 of the batteries charged, which basically takes 3 times the amount. It's a little frustrating, but you know, whatever. The batteries last forever, so it's not that big of a deal. Maybe you can get a charger that does 3. I don't know. If somebody smarter than me knows about this stuff, please put it in the comments below, because I'd really like to get something like that. So that's basically it. You know, you just pop your batteries in there, and I believe they all go one way, so positive up, I believe, and then, you know, screw your system back in here. And it will not work if It does not have reverse polarity protection, so it won't work if, yeah, I got it. I'm not gonna activate it because this thing freaks out if it doesn't have any weight in it. So that's pretty much it. All in all, really pleased with this piece of hardware. I think it's the next generation of gimbal technology with the encoders. It's got a lot of weight to it, and these motors, they don't really tell you, but the motors can actually handle a little bit more. It turns out, I believe Graham from Cheesy Cam actually connected a monitor to the GoPro, the little backpack, LCD backpack, and he managed to get it in here without these on here. I think he reversed these, and just these little screw-ins. He reversed them on the other side and then used a rubber band to hold this in place. And it was totally fine to carry the LCD backpack and the GoPro at the same time. So it'll hold a lot more weight than you think, not just the GoPro. Which actually might be good in the future if GoPro decides to use their little port for anything other than a touchscreen or a battery back, or a Wi-Fi pack, or whatever it is, depending on what you've got as far as the system goes. But anyway, all in all, very well designed. The machine metal is really nice. Everything's kind of smooth. The other thing I want to touch on is the bottom of the system actually has a 1/4-inch receiver, like a typical tripod mount, which is super awesome because I come from a grip background, so I have a lot of 1/4-inch like screw-in, type things lying around, so I can put all kinds of things on there, boom poles, I'll show, and a lot of other things. I'll show you what I've got set up for it right now so that you can kind of see, and I will put a description for these things in the description box below, a link, sorry, in the description below, because I looked forever for this stuff. I wasn't sure what it took when I bought it because the reviews were so sparse, which is why I'm doing one now. And it took me a really long time to figure out what I could use to mount a cell phone or a monitor or whatever. So this is kind of, I'll put this aside a little bit until I get these out. I'll talk about these just a little bit real quick. So basically what this is an 11-inch articulating magic arm. So essentially what that means is you unscrew it, everything sort of kind of moves around until you find a position that you want. This comes basically as is, separate from this little funky doodad thing here. Basically like that. I think it also comes, I think mine came with a hot shoe adapter on it, so you can actually connect it to the top of a camera. So you can extend, I guess, a monitor or something else out, which is nice. But these things are like, I think I paid like 15 bucks for it on eBay from China. It took like a week to get here. I live in Mexico, so everything kind of takes a little bit longer to get here. But yeah, it was super cheap, super worth it. This thing's like solid metal, makes the device a little bit heavier, but really all in all, not a big deal. And then I also ordered this along with it. This also has 2 1/4-inch adapters, receivers, one on the bottom and one in the back. And what this is actually a little holder for your phone. Now, I don't think, maybe, let's see. Maybe, yeah, it does. So if you're, if you're a Android user, like I am, and you've got a phone that's the size of a small Learjet, you can fit it on this little thing here. But essentially what happens is you put your phone in here, you've got your GoPro app hooked up, you screw this on, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to get these kind of situated the way you want them. I'm actually really upset that I moved it in the first place because it took me a long time to get it all set up. But essentially, you just connect it to these this little magic arm, and then you connect this to the bottom, like so. I won't screw it in because it's a pain. But you screw it in, and then you connect your GoPro to your GoPro app, and you've got yourself a little monitor here. There is like a 1.3 or 1.2 or 3, a very minute lag. However, it's really not that big of a deal, and I don't think it's something that you should worry about too much, especially since the whole purpose of this device is to get nice, smooth, slow motion, or smooth motion, I guess, is the biggest thing. But the leg, I really never found to be that big of a deal because, you know, there's only a very few situations where I'm actually running with it or I need fast motion or something. But honestly, if you're just watching the monitor, you can't really tell that there's leg at all. It's only when you're kind of actively looking at that and then looking down at the monitor, you can tell that there's a little bit of lag, but it's really not that bad. So, and also it should be noted that the GoPro 3 has more lag than the GoPro 4. So if you got the GoPro 4 black, you're in luck because you've got a lot less lag than the 3. So I guess all that's left is just show you guys a little bit of footage. I shot a little bit with my wife and my dog just so you guys could see how it handles motion. I'm just gonna do a few things, kind of walking up steps, walking down the street. You'll also get a chance to see a little bit of where I live. So that's about it. If you have any comments or complaints, please put them in the comments below. If you have any ideas on how I can improve my videos, please let me know in the comments below as well. And if you haven't done it so already, please hit that subscribe button and the like button. It really helps me out so I can continue to make videos like this. Not sure what I got coming up next week. Maybe we'll hack a Wii, but I'll let you know as soon as I can. So please come back next Friday for the next video, and I will see you later. Later, guys.